What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 17 of the Save Data Cast. I am your host, David, and joining me today is Breath of the Wild 10 out of 10 Stan. That's Zach.
Yes, and I'm tired of being treated like I have the wrong opinion.
You're not in good company for that one. I'm also
No,
joined by the prophet of the 7 out of 10 Kermit. That's Chris.
I am tired of people siding with Zach even a little bit.
Welcome back, though. Welcome back to this podcast. It is lovely to have you all with us. I feel like it's been a while since we did a podcast because Zach moved, Bridge is on vacation, general craziness past few weeks. So
we're just kids and life is a nightmare. Yeah, I understand.
Chris got a new job. I've been interviewing. It's all madness past few weeks. So hopefully we get back to the bi-weekly cadence again. But if this is your first time joining us, this is a usually bi-weekly gaming discussion and topic show where we talk about our favorite topics in video games. Sometimes we review games, sometimes we preview games. Today we are going to be talking about our most hype releases for video games of all time. This is our personal ones, not like, who had the best marketing campaign and then their game flopped, like Cyberpunk or something like that. Cyberpunk could be your answer, but that's just a very good example to use on that one.
Yeah. Just to clarify, because there is like a little. I didn't ask this because I wanted to write a list before I asked it. We're talking about hype for the release, independent of the quality of the game. Right?
Yes, we
cool.
are.
Fantastic.
Yes,
good,
we are.
Good.
Which Kingdom Hearts game is that going to be, Chris?
You already got one.
I'm with you on that one, though. Jesus. Before we get into any of that, let's do a quick fantasy critic update. It's been a while, and I think there's been some moving and shaking going on. So let's take a look real quick. The link will work. All right. In terms of new drops and pickups, let's see. I don't think we got this one. So Zach dropped Diablo Immortal and picked up Tales of Arise, which is seeming to have been a good move.
I did not think I was going to score this high. I'm very
nope,
happy.
Neither did I. A Tales fan, and I did not think that this game would score that well. I was very iffy on the marketing for it, so I'm happy that it's good. Been playing it. Talk about that in a few minutes. And then Zach also dropped Nobody Save the World because I think that got delayed, right?
Officially got delayed, yeah.
And picked up Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. So good work on that one.
I mean, I think it's going to get like an 8. I hope.
I think that's going to depend on how the art style jives with people, because I hate the new one, but I know a lot of people are really enjoying it. So
I hate the 3D stuff. I love the animations of the COs. I think that looks dope.
And
people don't like
still don't like either of them personally.
Right.
Or the 3D I'm actually okay with. In terms of games that came out and got scored, let's see. We got a bunch. We got... Oh, wait, no. We already did that one. Psychonauts 2 for me. Coming in at an 89 right now on OpenCritic at 19 points. The highest, tied for the highest scoring game right now in our fantasy critic.
That's so wild. I'm so happy for you, David. I really am.
So happy myself.
I'm happy for you as a person. I'm furious for the points you've gained.
I only have 2 games that have even come out. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm so hosed. None of my games are coming out.
In counter to that, Elise counterpicked that game, so that's not going well for her. No, and I don't.
That's her only negative. Every other game she's picked is positive.
Yeah, but she also has a lot
positive
of games.
for 0.
Yeah, Maquette gave 2. Stronghold Warlords, I don't know what that even is. Got 1.
Yeah, I think Humankind was a new release. That's sitting at an 80.
That could still change a little bit, actually.
It's newer release. I don't think we covered it yet. What else came out? Life is Strange 2 Colors for Chris over there, sitting at an 81 currently on OpenCritic.
About what I hoped, about what I expected.
I thought it'd do a little better than that, but not like crazy. I thought it'd do like an 84, something like that.
Well, I thought Turnip Boy would do a little better, and I was a fool for that.
That's true.
That's a bummer.
That's true. And then last but certainly not least, Tales of Arise, as we were talking about earlier, sitting at an 87. Although that is liable to change since it literally just came out in like the past 24 hours. So that is certainly not locked in yet. And
if
that
it
game
stays above an 85, I'm gonna be really happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get into it when I talk about what I've been playing, but I'm enjoying it, and I think that game's gonna be pretty long. Is my guess from where I'm at so far.
I mean, it's a Tales game.
Tales game long? What? No, I
I
had no
literally,
idea that was possible.
because the reviews are coming in so positive, and there was one that I'll talk about, I guess, when you get to it. But like, was comparing it to another game that I was like, what?
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl?
Yeah, it really made me want to play it, and I was like, Zach,
they compare it to Final Fantasy VII Remake because that's apt if they did.
No, they compared it to Sekiro. Because there becomes like a parry system, not a parry system, but like a stamina stance system, and if you break it, you get like an execute on an enemy. And I was like, that in an action RPG sounds hot.
Also,
me.
Guess what? Yeah. Not new to the Tales series, y'all. Okay. Yeah, it was in the last game, basically.
But just the last one.
Yeah, which was in like 2017, before Sekiro.
Yeah, well,
wow.
So.
I hate when people are like, "Oh, this series has this new mechanic from this game that came after a game in the series had the mechanic."
Which Tales game was the one before this one?
Berseria,
which was actually good and scored pretty well.
That's the furry lady?
Garbage. Furry?
She's like a wolf girl.
No, she has like a weird monster arm.
Oh, shows what the fuck I know.
I don't remember her turning into a wolf. I don't think that's been in a Tales game. Whatever. I'm just happy that I don't think there's a freaking lolly character in this new one.
It's just in my fan fiction.
With that, I think we just go straight into what we've been playing. I don't think there's anything else on Fantasy Critic unless you guys have anything.
Yeah, I dropped because Lego Star Wars is not coming out. So I dropped
so happy
it.
about that. Yeah. I got so scared.
I dropped it, but it didn't go through, so I just re-dropped it. I don't fucking know.
Huh. Yeah, that's weird.
Weird. I don't know. I already know what I'm picking up.
It's still sitting in your thing.
It might not have... Maybe it didn't have the official tag for will not release yet. Or like switched while you had it.
It also doesn't drop things until, I think, like whatever the day we have.
Saturday.
Yeah. I did it like last week. Don't worry about it. But I will say the thing that's replacing it on my list does have lollies.
Oh, no.
So there's that.
Oh, no.
See you on the next Save Datacast, pervert.
Oh, no. I mean, I'll just go first then. We've butted around
tell us about
around the bush on Tales. Before I even get into Tales, did I talk about Psychonauts 2 yet on this show?
God damn it. The thing is,
I don't think you
actually have.
I don't think I have. Listen,
David,
y'all.
regale us of the Xanatos.
Psychonauts 2, fucking 10 out of 10. Best game of the year. Probably not going to be changing that opinion. Playing through it a second time on stream because I beat it in like 2 days, just in like 20 hours in 2 days. Freaking overtime on it. That game is magical. In so many ways, it has taken the humor of Psychonauts 2 and aged it up a little bit. It has taken the tone of Psychonauts 2 and aged it up. It has taken the levels of Psychonauts 2.
You mean the Psychonauts 1?
Sorry, yes. I mean of Psychonauts 1. My bad. It has taken like the tone, the
you're talking
humor.
about Psychonauts 3 and you're David from the future.
Oh, man, that would be a great future. I don't think we're getting a Psychonauts 3, but it would be a great future.
Hey, we want to keep going this shit that's not coming out list. Put it on there, baby.
Although, who knows?
Next to Beyond Good and Evil 2.
The game probably doing better than they expected. So.
Oh, I guarantee they're like... Tim Schafer's like just cocaine and strippers right now.
Yeah, but what's he doing about the game release?
But literally, this game grew up essentially. Like the tone has grown up, the humor's grown up, the characters have not, because it's only like 2 days after the first game in the timeline, so they haven't actually grown really at all. Like the art style has stayed the same, but actually has enough polygons to not look horrible. and it has like good lighting. The level design is fantastic. The way that they continue to evolve the game as you play the game by having levels that have completely different mechanics from each other because they're not beholden to any sort of really theme within their levels. It's not like God of War, you have to stick to if you're playing God of War 2018, you're kind of stuck Nordic, right? Yeah. With a tinge of Greek. And that's your setting for the whole game. Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2, they're one of the things that makes them truly amazing is that they can just change the tone, the environment for every single level. There is a psychedelic 70s concert level. There is a weird, creepy mailroom with a giant robot with like several hands that is way cooler than it sounds. There is a cooking show level that was fantastic. I really enjoy. That's one of my favorite ones in the game. They touch on super serious topics in both heavy and light ways at the same time. And they really tread that line really well of making things funny, but also not being disrespectful and like treating things with the utmost care. Like there is a level for most normal things that people deal with. There is an alcoholism level. There is imposter syndrome levels. There are levels about anxiety. There's levels about how you view yourself and how your friends view you and how those things are different and might not always be the same or the same between different friends groups or spouses and stuff. Like there are levels for all of that.
Oh, wow.
Each one's having different art styles and tones and like cool mechanics that they introduce. I absolutely adore this game. It is fantastic. It is 100%. I can't imagine, unless Deathloop is literally going to be one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. Like I don't see a game passing Psychonauts 2 on Game of the Year for this year. It's so great. And the combat is actually pretty good now, which playing Psychonauts 1, it's pretty garbage.
I was watching you streaming it and I was like, that combat actually looks fucking fun.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that is my second time playing through, so I'm a lot more used to
but he's got the E-Honda 1,000-hand slap.
He does, and you can buy a pin that makes your 1,000-hand slap the gay pride flag, which is amazing. It's fantastic.
That's fucking rules.
Really?
It's awesome, yeah.
Okay, wow.
That Raz is a fucking ally right there.
Your telekinetic fists just like poop rainbows. It's great. It is utterly fantastic.
The way God intended.
Yeah, Ed Mackey does bring up a thing that I was going to bring up. They touch on a lot of different things, and they do a lot of different artistic stuff in this game. And I think they generally do a good job of warning people on the things they're going to handle and being like, hey, like if you've got problems with alcoholism, or specifically family members with it, really, not so much yourself, gotcha. Or like anxiety and stuff, they're like, maybe like dip your toes before you commit to this game. Like try some stuff and okay. If you find a level that you don't like back out. Like it's okay, we understand. And you can turn on stuff that makes you invincible too. So if you if you're having issues with certain enemies, like you can just cruise through them. One thing that I could not find good controls for is the psychedelic level. Kind of seems like it might be a nightmare for people that have like epilepsy.
Yeah.
There's lots of flashing colors and no way to turn it off, and has like a lot of screen blurring on the sides that can totally mess with people's eyes. So that's the one thing. That's really the one big negative for me, is that, as well as this game has a lot of really, really good levels. I don't think they really did some of the whimsical stuff that they did in the first game. So it is heavier. Okay. So like they don't have quite as many of the levels where stuff is just outright funny all the time. I think the psychedelic one is probably the closest, but it's not like, it's not to a level of like a Milkman Conspiracy or
gotcha.
Some other levels from the first game, but they're all fantastic. They just don't have that weird in a funny way. I guess the cooking competition one is probably the closest, and oh, that level is so fucking good. It's so good.
You know what, you've honestly, because this was something I've been wanting to play something before Deathloop comes out, and I'm like, well, I'll just wait. I'm not gonna buy Tales of Arise, but I do have Game Pass, so I might as well just check this out.
Dip into Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
I honestly think you'll really enjoy it.
No, like, I guarantee I'll enjoy it, because I actually really like the first game. I don't talk about it because it's your thing, but like, this game's great. I played it twice. Like, I loved it. So.
And Maggie's like, oh, Psychedelic Knots. Fun fact, trying to find images for Psychonauts before Psychonauts 2 came out, if you like Google image Psychonauts, there was so much psychedelic art with astronauts and shit. Like, it was a pain in the butt.
It's really funny.
It really was truly a pain. Yeah, I love that game. I'm not going to talk about it more because I'm streaming it, and go check that out next time I stream. We'll post it.
One more question from Susimi6 is, do you need to know the plot of the first game to be immersed in the second?
No, you definitely don't. So, and they also give at the very beginning of the game, as you start it, they give like a recap video told from Braz's perspective of what happened in the first game and the VR game. Really, the VR game was PlayStation exclusive for like PSVR exclusive for a while before anyone even really had a PSVR, and then they moved it to like Steam later after all the hype and interest was dead and people figured out locomotion. So the way you move around that game is you just use clairvoyance to hop between different people's perspectives. So there's no walking or anything. You're just hopping from object to object or person to person or fish to fish. And by the time it released on Steam, it wasn't good anymore. But they give you a pretty good recap. The only thing you'll miss are like some like callback jokes. That's really it. And there are quite a few of them, but like you will either be like, that wasn't that funny. Was that a callback? And the answer to that question is always yes.
Yes.
Or you just won't get it and move on with your day, and you'll be totally fine. But it's not like laden with jokes like that, so I think you'll be totally fine. And the plot of the first game and Rhombus of Ruin is not deep, so it's not hard to explain the basic stuff. I guess moving on from that, Tales of Arise came out yesterday at like 9 my time.
Sure, it's not Tales of Arise, the character from Persona 5. This joke sucks. 4, whatever. I fucked it up.
Yeah, no, you fucked it up.
Arise Kujikawa, something like that.
Isn't it Fujikawa?
Whatever.
Worst character.
This joke sucks. Why are we still doing it?
I said it, internet. Rise sucks. Your waifu's trash. Come at me.
Yukiko, best girl.
Yeah, fuck yeah, David.
She's not. GA all day.
GA's not even third place, my guy.
Kanji.
You are so wild.
Kanji's there, though.
Okay, like, even if Yukiko wasn't in first place, she still isn't third, my guy.
Kanji?
You got Kanji and Naoto.
It's true.
No.
True. But man, Tales of Arise...
Oh, fuck you.
Tales of Arise, I think I started at like 10 last night and played until like 3:30 in the morning. Having a really good time with the game. It is... I feel like the tone is pretty different from a lot of the other Tales games. It definitely starts off pretty dark. If you played Berseria, it starts off light and then gets dark real fast. This one's kind of the opposite. It starts off really dark, like everyone is slaves. Yeah, it's pretty rough at the start, honestly. Every X-Spheres are back, sort of. Which was a surprise to me as a Tales of Symphonia fan. But like this game really feels like an evolution, which is good because I think Tales, especially with Berseria, was in a good place. And they really just needed to fix up a few things. And most of that stuff I think has been fixed combat-wise. Combat is very fluid. There are really good dodge mechanics in that game. they've added a bunch of stuff about like spell interrupting, calling on your teammates to attack. What are some of the other things in there? The only thing I really truly do not like about the combat is the control scheme, which I do not think I can change. It did not seem like I could remap it. I tried a little bit, unless I can only do it from like the main menu or something, which if that's the case, fuck off, Bandai Namco.
Where are you playing it on?
PS5.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if it's Steam, you could remap it in Steam, but yeah.
Yeah, no, unlucky on that one. Actually, I think I might be able to remap it in the system on PlayStation 5 too. They might have added that.
I think they added that, yeah.
But yeah, like basically like your normal attacks are on the right bumper and trigger buttons. Or sorry, it's weird. Like normal attack is right bumper, dodge is right trigger, and then your special attacks are on triangle, square, and X, and circle is jump. And just it feels really weird. It's taken honestly a few hours to get used to, and as soon as I jump into a different like action-based system that doesn't have that control scheme, I'm screwed going back to it. So that part is rough, but the mechanics in combat are honestly, it's some of the smoothest combat I've seen, especially for something that is definitely like way lower budget than like a Final Fantasy VII remake. I don't think the combat is on FF7 remake level, but it's not as far behind as I would have thought it was going to be.
Gotcha.
So basically how combat works is you can get like a chain of basic attacks, and then you can chain those into special attacks. And if you then float the enemy with one of the special attacks, you also get an air chain of your normal attacks as well. So you can do some like, honestly, like character action game sort of combo strings in a Tales game, which is super cool. I'm really having fun with it. And you can also bring in the stagger mechanic that people were referencing, similar to like a Sekiro game. You can stagger enemies and get like an execute, which was in Tales of Berseria in a similar manner. And then there is also, I think they're called boost attacks, which is essentially you build up like a stamina sort of thing on your side by attacking, dodging. Different abilities you get as you progress in the game will make the bar go up faster and stuff too. But those boost attacks are essentially just you call a teammate, they come in, and one of them like fires a like line attack with their gun that can hit multiple people. Main character does like a fire sword thing. I only have one other character that does like a thing that interrupts magic spells, which is super cool. So they have some situational use to them as well. You can use all of them to stagger people into that execute thing as well. So honestly, combat is just fluid. I'm having a really good time with it. The game lets you pretty much ignore enemies if you really want to, and I find that I'm not doing that, which is cool.
That's good.
And like, if you've played Tales games, as you're running around in like the overworld, you can dodge enemies basically. You can see them on the map and run around them. And this one is no different, except you can see every enemy that's in the combat. So if there's a group of 4, you see all 4 of them on the map. And they're hard to dodge because there's 4 of them. But like you can see exactly what you're getting into.
So it's not just you see a little image of a slime, and you come up and it's like a slime and 3 harpies, and you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah, you see 3 harpies, and then you fight 3 harpies.
Screen break, and then you're fighting like 5 things.
Exactly. That's what I signed up for.
And it's cool too because they do like this Tales game has a pretty robust crafting system so far. So like you can craft weapons and armor and stuff.
Kids love crafting. Let's go.
But it's cool because you can see the enemies that drop things before you engage them. So like if you don't see see an enemy that drops a material you need, you just walk around that mob.
Yeah, I'm into that.
So I think that's a really good combination. Tsushimi asks, how's the difficulty curve? It's not bad. I think the controls take a bit to get used to. I did just hit my first boss that I thought was legitimately like kind of difficult. Like literally like half hour before this stream. So, and that was a good like 7 hours plus into the game, I think, at this point. But it's really cool. Some of the bigger enemies and bosses have weak points too. where you can position yourself, hit the weak points, and that also puts in like a stagger stuff too, which your abilities do more damage. Yeah, and all around just super cool. The main character has a pretty cool mechanic where he can charge up an attack to do extra damage at the sacrifice of his own health. And instead of individual characters having mana in this game, their mana is not a thing. It's just gone as far as I can tell.
Okay.
So spellcasters can just cast spells normally. The exception being
like a cooldown time kind of thing instead.
Yeah, I think it's mostly built into like the cast times.
Gotcha.
And it's just treating it like they don't do like crazy high damage because you're just using them all the time now.
Makes sense.
But they do have a thing where healing is restricted to a like party-wide cure points system. Okay. Where if your teammate uses healing spells or like a resurrect or as you're going through like certain dungeons or open world, there are things you can interact with that eat from your cure points in order to get access to like more gear and stuff. So like maybe there's a person who's injured in the open world and you can heal them and they'll give you a thing. That sort of stuff. So you can choose to use your cure points that way or not, which is
how do you restore them?
You restore them if you rest either at a campfire, which are every so often, or at a inn, or you can use what used to be a mana restore item now restores the cure point system. So you can do that in or outside of combat with that item. And they still have healing items which don't ding your cure point system, so you can still use those whenever you want. And overall, I'm having like a great time. The story is it's like pretty interesting. I feel like it's gonna go places, but it hasn't gone there yet. That's just JRPGs usually. Like like you
That's
start
Japan, baby.
Those games usually have like a big twist, like 40 hours into the 80 hours.
They usually have like 3 twists at different times. I already hit one of them and it wasn't like a surprising one, but I was like, oh, okay, yep. Saw that coming, but that's cool. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. There's definitely, with all like slave and ruler stuff, I definitely get some like anti-capitalism things right now.
in a video game? No.
Yeah, there's definitely some anti-capitalism and traditional Two Tales games anti-racism sentiments, because boy, is there a lot of racism in this game, but that's pretty normal for theirs.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
They do that pretty frequently.
In the Two Tales games I've played, it's been a theme.
Yeah, they always touch on it a little bit. It's just, is it a primary theme or not? And is this one very upfront? Within the first 3 minutes of playing this game, you're like, oh, there is going to be some rampant racism that we have to deal with. Okay, cool. All right. Nifty.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, overall, having a good time with it. We'll see in like a week or two when I'm finally done with the game, if I still feel that way. But overall, having a good time.
Awesome.
That's it for me. Zach, what you been playing?
So David, you and I did a little playthrough of this of Garden Story, but I ended up picking up on my own and I've been playing through it. I'm actually almost at the end. I'm enjoying it a lot. It is Garden Story is a 2D pixel art game, kind of a top-down perspective. You are a little grape named Concord. You live in a land where all the people are not anthropomorphic, but they're fruits and vegetables with faces and arms and legs, and they talk.
Wow, this is just fucking Turnip Boy. Holy shit!
Yeah, literally, but it's also there's also frogs. There's also frogs.
Yeah.
That's I don't know why it's just frogs, but it's frogs. That's fine. And basically, the world's being taken over by a thing called the Rot, and you are kind of tasked. It starts off very slow of like, hey, you're like just go around doing chores for the local townsfolk, and it's like, oh no, you're going to be the next guardian. And there used to be 12 guardians, and there's only 2 of them left. And it's like, kind of my one complaint with the game is that I think it does take a little too long to introduce all of its mechanics.
Yeah, from our brief stream, it felt like tutorials went for a year.
It wasn't even that. It was just like when I played it alone, it took me like less than an hour to get to where we were in like the 2.5 that we played. So like that
voicing everything,
yeah. But like, so like the general cycle of the game is like you wake up, there's like a little quest board by your house, and it's like you have 3 quests to do, up to 3 quests to do, and like the more you do them, the more like it advances the town. So like if you do enough, like this certain shop will have better items, or this place will have a better like thing for you. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep working on that. And then so like while you're doing that, you can find there's a lot of combat in this game. And the combat ranges from the combat's just fine. The combat's fine. It's serviceable. There's not like a huge amount of monster variety, but there gets some later. There's dungeons, but they're really just they're kind of bland. But it becomes like, okay, like let's like you start in the spring meadow and you do enough stuff there, and it's like, oh, you got to go to the summer bar, which is like a beach town, and you solve some of their problems. It's like, oh no, go to Autumn Lookout, and you go to Autumn Lookout, and then it's like, oh, here's Winter's Peak, and it's like you get all the 4 towns, and it's not until like the end of the 3rd town where you actually get the farming mechanic, and I was like, this is what I assumed was gonna be the whole thing. But it definitely like it.
Why would you want gardening in Garden Store? You idiot.
Exactly. But it feels like if you wanted to play Stardew Valley with specific characters and there was no romance options, and it was more about the combat than it was about the gardening, but it still has the town center where you have to like get all the items to like level up shit or whatever. Like there's also a building mechanic. You also like as you're killing mobs, you get items to like upgrade your gear. So it has like that kind of Monster Hunter-esque thing going on. There's a lot of mechanics that play into it. I think some of them are a little half-baked, but honestly, it's pretty charming, it's pretty simple, and it's the in-game days only take like 10 to 15 minutes. So it's very easy to play like small segments of it and then put it down.
I won't be playing this game.
No,
you giving me?
Yeah, like if for me, it was a perfect chill game for where it hit in my life. Honestly, of the games that came out, of the indie games that came out in the same time period, meaning Boyfriend Dungeon and 12 Minutes, I was extremely hyped for Boyfriend Dungeon and 12 Minutes, and I walked away just being like, that was okay. This game, I had zero hype going into, and I walked away being like, that's pretty good. So yeah. That's my Garden Store, and it's on Switch. So I mean, come on, play it on Switch.
Play it on the toilet.
Second game, which we played on stream the other day, was Overboard, which the full Let's Play of that will be going up on Monday. Overboard is super fun. It is a murder mystery game where you are the murderer. It kind of has like, it's not roguelike, but it is designed to have you do multiple runs. Basically, you are Veronica Villenzy, a strange starlet of this like wealthy man. I think his name was like Victor Villenzy. You kill him at the start of the game, and then the game starts, and you wake up the next morning, and you're like, "Oh shit, we're landing in America tomorrow on this ship." In like, I think it's 8 hours from when you wake up, and it's like, how are you going to get there without people realizing that 1, your husband is dead, and 2, that you've killed him? And there are so many things you can do. Like everything is very important, and everybody, there's like I think 6 other members on the ship that like count as characters, and they all have like set schedules of what they're doing. You can obviously influence them by telling them certain information or like putting stuff in their rooms or whatever. But like our very first start was like we met this other guy who had found one of our diamond earrings on the deck, which is where we pushed the husband off the night before. And we were like, we got to kill this guy. And so we were like, oh, look, there's dolphins in the water. And he's like, what? I don't see any dolphins. You're like, no, look closer. And then you just shove him off.
Hell yeah.
And we're like, we fucking killed him. And then instantly we got caught. And I was like, oh, this sucks.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, motherfucker.
It literally is that. And then like the second playthrough, we played it way more smart. Figuring out like, oh, okay, this person saw her husband fall the night before, but she thinks that he killed himself. But she still hates us. She thinks that we drove him to suicide. So how can we like assuage those fears from her? How can we make other things work? There was one playthrough where we like seduced this like the captain of the ship to get his like room key, which will get him to any room. And then we went into her room and like planted our sleeping pills there, which the game like makes a point of like, listen, it's in the 1930s. If you're taking like medicine for your brain, people think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And like that, like straight up, there is a character who like
I played LA Noire. I know.
Yeah, there's a character who like becomes like the detective in the last hour when everybody's like at the Great Hall meeting before you land in America, and it's like, hey, your husband's been killed. We think who could have done it? And he was like, we found some narcotics in her room. Only people who are crazy take these. And it was like, jeez, oh Pete. But the writing is really clever. It definitely. I actually went back and played a little bit more after our stream, which I can't say for some of the other games we've played. So like, I think this game is great. It's also apparently on Switch. Although this game I think is totally fine to play on Steam or anywhere else you can get it because it's a lot of fun, and the runs, once you know what you're doing, easily like an hour or less. So
oh, okay.
I think I think it's a really good game. I'm a fan.
Dang, that sounds pretty. How much was that game? Remember?
I think it's 20. I think it's only 20.
Okay, for honestly, might even be a lot for a game that only takes like an hour or two. But
yeah, but you're not going to get one. So one, you're almost certainly not going to get the right solution on the first try.
Yeah.
Also, there's multiple endings. I should say that there are tons of different endings. You can frame literally everybody on the boat. You can kill everybody on the boat, from what I understand. And like
the violence ending.
There was one point where we walked into a sleeping old lady's room in our
playthrough. Welcome back to my genocide run of
straight up. No, and it was like, hey, there's a pillow on the side bed. Do you like want to strangle her? And we were like, well, we didn't, but like now I feel like we have to because this is really funny. And it was great too because the game was like, there's a dolphin design on the pillow, and I was like, every time you kill somebody, it's fucking dolphins. Dolphins are involved in every murder.
The dolphins are in on it.
It's really funny. The game is really cool. And there's like a lot of different mysteries going on. And I will say, from between run, your character, there's like a little bit at the beginning where they acknowledge what happened in the last run, which I thought was weird at first.
Oh, that's cool.
Like it.
Huh.
But like there was like the first thread of a mystery we found on like the second run, and at the start of the third run, it was like, like this person is hiding something. Like, how do I get them to trust me and open up to me or whatever? And I was like, that's cool. Okay. So yeah, I'm into it. I'm actually gonna go back and play some more of it. So.
My question for you, I think this is why you even found Overboard, right? Was it has like an 88 on Open Critic right now? Do you think that's a good score, or do you think that's a bit high or low?
I would say I would want to play more to get back to you on that, but off of what I've played so far, I really enjoy it. My biggest gripe about it is, I think, for what a lot of people knocked 12 minutes for. It's like on our third run, we figured out something we should have done on the second run that probably would have made us win, but we did one mistake and we fucked ourselves. And it was the most like, God damn it. And it was right at the very end and was very upset.
Should all games like this have a
save
Life
state
is
system?
Life is Strange-esque rewind.
So here's the thing. This game does have a rewind. But not in the not during the investigation at the very end of the boat ride. You can restart every segment except for the final thing. And we got to the final thing, and there is a bit where we chose to say one voice line, which hinted that we knew about something that we shouldn't have known about. And someone was like, wait, they said this. And it was like, we did it on purpose because we were like screwing over this person, and we wanted to like screw them over and give them like a wink, like screw you. And they were like, no, that proves that they're lying. Come on. And that screwed us over. And so I was like, we're gonna have to restart and like go through everything. And it does have like a fast forward system, but it's not like, to get through everything, it's still gonna take you at least like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
And do that just to get to one choice to make a different option was like, okay, that's a little frustrating.
That's a bit much, yeah.
But apart from that, I really dig it.
Hell yeah. Any other games for you, Zach?
Nope, that's it. That's it for me.
All right, Chris. What you been
We're
playing,
only
my dude?
50 minutes into the podcast, baby.
I know.
No, we're not. I hit record right
let's-
before we started. We're not 50 minutes in.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Don't worry, I don't play video games. Except for RuneScape, baby. Nobody wants to hear me talk about RuneScape, so I won't.
Yep.
But how hyped are you that the HD thing is actually happening now?
I mean, yeah, that's topical. I mean, hey, I was actually looking at some more screenshots of RuneLite HD from right before this podcast starts. It looks fucking good. It looks better than RuneScape 3, which is technically speaking a modern game. Came out 2014. Technically speaking, a modern game. So
Is it? Is it?
I mean, like legally speaking, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for it. It's not going to really affect anything of how I play the game, but it sure looks pretty. It does speak to like people make fun of RuneScape for looking like dog shit, and it does. But like it does have an art style, and like that's showing like that the upper limits of the art style. And I will say a lot of like the old areas in RuneScape don't even evoke what the art style has become anymore. Like the areas that are made now in the game look to like the upper limits of what this engine from fucking 2004, I believe, can do. And those look really cool. However, there's then a huge disparity between like, you know, the iconic RuneScape locations that you remember from being 10 and what end game content in the game actually fucking looks like.
Mm-hmm.
which is weird. It's a weird thing to happen, but this is what happens when you have a game, it grows old, it dies, and then people are like, "Can I have that back, please?" And you're like, "Go, I guess so." It's not just a remaster; it's a game they have to keep updating. People keep playing it. It's wild. Other than that, played and beat Boyfriend Dungeon. Very not impressed, and I wanted to like this game. Boy, did I want to like this game. I think what comes down to it is I don't really enjoy the limited combo system. And like Hades is a pretty limited combo system, all things considered, but they add to it by adding, of course, the god effects, and then there's good enemy variety. Enemy variety, not very good.
That's true.
I personally didn't like any of the romanceable characters, and that's like a big crux of the game.
It's called Boyfriend Dungeon. It's half the title.
Yeah. So not good. Also, that title was fun when like it was announced, but it makes complete like no sense considering that I think only 2 characters would identify as a boyfriend.
Yeah,
I mean, but whatever.
That's fair. But what do you call it? Significant other dungeon?
Like romance dungeon.
I think
still not as good of a title.
Boyfriend dungeon was the right title choice. But I agree that it is a
wrong
misnomer.
to pick up boyfriends in a dungeon.
Pick up dungeon actually isn't bad.
Nah, pick up dungeon sucks. I wouldn't think it's boyfriends though. I would be like,
that's true.
Pick up cards.
Dating dungeon? That sounds too much like a club. Go to. All right, I was not impressed by the game. Won't be going back when they add in the DLC characters. Other than that, I haven't.
I probably won't either now that you mention it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a hard sell on single player DLC in general because, like, I've already beaten the game. I don't want to go back. That's effort.
And they're always coming out like 2 months after the game is released, after I've forgotten the whole control scheme.
Or worse, like a year.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much as I want to like it, not a great game. That's unfortunate.
That is super unfortunate.
I think that's really all I've been playing. Like, I mean, nobody wants to hear about RPG Maker or fucking League of Legends. So, you know what? I've been playing the Sony fucking FX9 menu system a lot. Really getting good at speedrunning that thing. Great fucking
speedrunning to disappointment of not getting a PS5.
Oh yeah.
No. Sony FX9's camera.
Oh, okay.
Really getting good at that menu. Really fucking getting my skips down. You know.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair though, Chris, you're very good at the disappointment any percent speedrun on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Usually, my speedrun time is what is the thing it always says about over an hour.
Over an hour.
Yeah. God. I wonder like what percentage of people I'm in for have attempted to get a PS5 this number of times and failed.
You're pretty high up there, I think.
Because I try about 6 times a week, every week since the PS5 came out. I try like not all weeks have releases, but like Target. But I got Target, Best Buy, Walmart system down pat. I've had it in my hands for Best Buy multiple times and swept out from under me because their fucking website is so terrible.
I can't believe I got 2 the fucking launch day.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother when I got here. I was like, "Oh, I don't know if my nephew has the PlayStation 5 yet." I was like, "But I have it if he wants to play it." And he was like, "Oh, I got him one." I was like, I had to pay extra money for it. Though I was like, "Oh, did you buy a scalped one?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "How much you pay for it?" And he was like, $800. And I was like, "Damn."
Not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, that's honestly better than I thought he was gonna say.
Yeah,
I think the biggest problem with that right now, this is a deviation of the topic, but like that, like, because the quantity is still so limited, scalpers are still in. Whereas, like at this point, normally they'd be out because like
enough people wouldn't have them, wouldn't be as high demand.
Yeah, exactly. So the problem just keeps feeding itself.
Honestly,
and the problem is that they release such limited quantities. So there was a tweet a tweet that leaked from internal Walmart thing that said their last like a couple releases ago in the US they released 140. Wow. Why are you even? What are you doing?
Just hold on to them, yeah.
Okay, well, that was like a way smaller shipment than they usually get. But they were like, no, we got to get these out. But like, no, don't.
I would imagine going into. It's almost October. I imagine a lot of those places are going to start holding them for Black Friday, is my guess.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me, but I mean...
Chris, have you considered creating a bot to just try and get you a PlayStation 5?
That's not a bad idea.
Have you not considered this? At this point, this is what I would have done.
The closest I've gotten is to buying GameStop Pro. Because it like we made fun of it for like it gives you a chance of getting a PlayStation 5. It gets you a PlayStation 5.
Oh, really?
Like it you get
way higher.
You get access to the shop before anyone else does.
Anybody else does.
Everybody else only gets access if they don't sell out. And usually they sell out like 10 minutes before like the pro time is up.
Gotcha.
So like pretty sure that would just get me a PS5. But at this point, I'm kind of along for the ride.
Yeah. No, it's
fueled by spite.
It's entertaining every time you post like, here I'm in the queue in the Discord.
Let's go. Let's get it going, baby.
Oh, this poor bastard.
Walmart's website is the worst because it just doesn't work half the time. Best Buy is spurned me, but I get really close. So it's a tough one. Target is terrible. Target, like, half the time, just like you try to go to the fucking thing and it's like, oh, we don't know how to handle 35 people on our website. We're on fire.
35 whole people.
I mean, it's Target. What do they?
I know.
What do they know about video games? In fact, I bought my my Nintendo Switch at Target.
I think I got mine at a Target too. Actually,
I went there as it opened.
Amazon.
I was standing in like the hardware, like the tech hardware aisle, waiting for someone to come unlock it, and because like I could see the Switch in there. They had 2, but you can only see one. One was in the back. I didn't notice at the time. And this fucking kid comes up, and he's like, I don't know, 13, and then the person comes to unlock it, and they're like, they had already spoken to me. And they were like, you were here first, right? And I was like, yeah. And the kid goes, no, I was here first. Oh. And I looked at this kid and I was just like, am I going to have to knock the shit out of a fucking kid right now in the middle of this hour? Because it was like 5 a.m. I was tired and pissed. I stayed up through the entire night trying to get a fucking Switch because I went to multiple locations for midnight releases. And then the guy went, no, you weren't. And he gave me a Switch.
Oh, thank God.
Well, because I feel like genuinely they would have had to like go check the tapes.
I mean, at that point, I would have stood my ground.
No, absolutely.
but
I was like, yo, fuck this kid.
What a wild thing! What a wild thing to say.
Kids, man, don't have them.
Hey, you know what? I do gotta say, at least he tried.
No, fuck that kid.
Like, I respect the hustle, but also get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Try
Just
that on.
When the profit of Kermit.
When they went back, he checked out behind me too because they only had one cashier lane open at that point. Because they went back and got the other one out of the back for him. I should have fucking like turned around and just slapped that out of his hand. Get that shit out of here!
I hope it breaks.
Channel my fucking inner Dikembe Mutombo.
Speaking of console releases, let's talk about game releases. Our most hyped releases of all time. Does anyone have something they're truly passionate about and want to talk about first? A fun story?
Fun story changes my list substantially.
I guess fun story. This was I can't remember which Pokemon release it was, but it was whichever one came out towards the beginning of the Wii's life cycle. Because I went to the Toys R Us by me in Cincinnati. This is before I moved to New York, and obviously the Wii time, and
Wii time,
the Wii hours of the morning,
the era of Wii.
It was 3 a Wii, and I was like, okay, the new Pokemon game releases this morning. I'm gonna go to go to Toys R Us. It's gonna be there, and I was like, I'll just show up like right before they open. Like I'm not gonna need to wait for this.
It's a mistake.
Like, of course it's Pokemon, but it's Pokemon. Come on, I got enough copies. I stroll up, and like as I'm driving up, there's like a huge line, and I was like, oh my god, all these people are gonna get these Pokemon games. I'm not gonna be able to play Pokemon. And I show up, and I'm waiting in line. They let us in. They have to do the thing where it's like everybody come in orderly because it's a giant Toys R Us. The game section isn't right at the front of the store, so they have to keep us all in a line. We get there, and finally I get up to go into the game section of the Toys R Us,
the game zone,
and they're like, "Oh, you're here for the Wii, right?" And I was like, "What? No, I already have a Wii. I just want a copy of Pokemon." And I was like, wait, is everybody here just trying to buy a Wii? And everybody's like, yeah. And I was like, God damn it, I just want to buy Pokemon. Let me buy a goddamn copy. And so I checked out and got Pokemon. It was fine.
So how close was the release of the
This was
Wii?
This was over a year after the Wii.
Oh yeah, the Wii.
To be fair, the Wii had crazy shortages.
Yes, yeah, totally. But I was like, I was flabbergasted that this many people found out that they were going to get a shipment of Wiis that morning. And it happened to be the fucking day that the new Pokemon game was releasing. I'm assuming it's just like, Nintendo.
At least you don't have to wait in that line.
Like a Nintendo shipment,
well, no, I mean I had to wait to get to the front of the line because they were making everybody wait and buy a Wii, and they just assumed I was buying a Wii. But
okay, well,
I was embarrassed. I was like, oh, I feel bad now. I have a Wii already, but pretty mediocre console. They didn't really need to buy it.
I hate you so much.
You're so wrong.
It was really, it's just fine. It's not going to be remembered in the long scheme of things.
You're so wrong.
Don't agree about that in the slightest.
Nothing the Wii did will be used in the future.
Yeah, those Wiimotes definitely.
It also has one of the weakest. It has one of the weakest like.
We're not doing this.
Any Nintendo hardware.
We're not doing this today. Zach's wrong. We're moving on.
It does have other M. You're right. Also, that's the last. I will say the not being used thing is actually buck wild because so many things are derivative of the Wii.
Yeah,
I would even argue that
good. Everyone agrees that motion controls suck ass.
Yeah, but they were a lot worse before that, and they were also a lot worse after that by other companies. But Nintendo is the best at motion controls, which is a thing that no one should be proud about. But it's true that they are.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, if we're discluding VR, then yes. Otherwise, no.
Yes. I can make an argument that the pointing of the Wiimote inspired a lot of shit in VR too. I can't back that up, but I can say it.
No, I mean a lot of the Wiimote stuff is used in VR.
No,
that's my point.
It's all about the great Nintendo console, the Virtual Boy, huh, David?
I mean, ironically, it is also about that.
It is.
This isn't important. Talking about game releases.
I have one that might. This is going to get like one of two reactions out of both of you. You're both going to go, "Oh yeah," or "Oh no."
I bet it's the second.
You guys remember Evolve?
Oh yeah. Okay.
See?
Yeah.
That game was going to be everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked cool character design. One person gets to be a big fucking monster. The rest of you get to play Monster Hunter with guns in space.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Everyone gets to live their Predator versus Arnold Schwarzenegger fantasy. In space with guns, and it's class based. Back when everything had to be class based, that's still today. What am I talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then it sucked.
Yeah, that game really just only had 15 minutes of fame.
Well, I fully blame Turtle Rock because that game was cash grab as fuck.
Yeah, no, I think they actually like walked a bunch of stuff back.
They
like,
did
shortly after it came out. It was too late.
It was like 6 months later they made it free to play. They walked down because like
it was really fast.
The base game with all of the hunters and monsters was like $90.
Yeah.
Which is ungodly. Otherwise, it came with one monster and one of each of the hunters. Which actually I think is excusable on the hunters. I think unlocking more of them is fine, but I think it's completely inexcusable to say that if you want to play the monster, which is half of this game, you play as one thing or get fucked.
It's like you look at a game like Dead by Daylight, which I love, and I think it's $20 to start, which gets you I think like 6 of the monsters, and then now there's literally like I think
there's
almost 20 monsters.
There's
so many. I still think
some really cool crossovers. Yeah.
I think it just shot itself in the foot so fucking hard that it couldn't have been anything. And like, we're never going to get an Evolve 2 because it was such a failure.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, they're also making Back 4 Blood now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I totally forgot that Evolve happened. Yeah.
I was looking through my Steam like purchase list or like my library. What's fucking wrong with me? And I was like, oh my god, Evolve.
That's a good one.
And I was very excited for it.
I've got an interesting story one. So let me take you back to 2003.
Okay.
We're going real far back. Young David, who was 12 for most of that year, had recently picked up Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance, real cheap used. Great game. And from there I found Intelligent Systems, and I was like, these people, they make some good games. And at the time, I was reading the crap out of Nintendo Power. This will come back later for a different one, but reading the crap out of Nintendo Power, and I see like Fire Emblem, a series that's been big in Japan, coming to the US for the first time. I had played these characters, I think at this point, on Melee. Am I wrong? I might have the dates mixed up on that one. I don't remember if Melee
Smash 64, dog.
Yeah,
they didn't have Roy and Marth.
Yeah, they came to Melee before they showed up in the States. Yeah.
What year was Melee?
Was it? No, one of them is in 64, right?
No, you are entirely wrong.
Wow.
Yeah,
memory.
Yeah, Melee was 2001. So I had played Marth and Roy from this mythical series that I was like, man, wish this was in the US, and it wasn't. And like I was a Marth main, so like I was super hyped for this game, but I was poor as shit. So like I got my games from the bargain bin, or like once a year at Christmas I got video games. That's pretty much how it happened. So I saw Fire Emblem and was like, yes, give me this game. And I entered in partway through the year. I don't remember if I talked about this or not. I wrote in on a postcard checking boxes for my picks for the Nintendo Power Game Awards sweepstakes thing. So I did my picks. I gave them my address and my phone number, as 13-year-olds do when they're children and are stupid.
Yeah.
And I sent that
and then
thing
Reggie
in.
Fils-Aimé came to your house.
No, I didn't,
and stole your N64 to eat the chips.
Didn't get that. But what I did win was one of the prizes in the sweepstakes. And young David got a set of like 5 GameCube and GBA games sent to him.
Oh hell yeah, that's a treasure load.
It was great. I got most of them not great games. I got Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, really only good for speedrunning.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
I sold that. I didn't even play it. I got... It looked dumb, and I was an edgy 13-year-old, all right?
You were correct about it being dumb.
I got Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. I got Ikaruga, the shmup.
Oh yeah.
Fire Emblem, and I think I got another game or two that I don't remember. But I got Fire Emblem.
It fucks my brain up that fucking Ikaruga and Fire Emblem came out at the same time.
Yeah.
That's weird. That
And Billy
wrong.
Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Yeah.
What a slice of time.
You could have told me Billy Hatcher was a SNES game, and despite that being impossible, I would have believed you.
But I got Fire Emblem in the mail a day before taking a road trip to Florida with like my grandpa.
Oh,
so
wow.
My stupid butt played that the whole way there. I did the tutorial missions, and I thought that was the whole game because I was an idiot and didn't realize when you hit new game again, you can play as Ella Wood. But man, what a great time to get a free game as a kid.
Yeah.
For this release.
Yeah,
I was like hyped
me?
about. It was magical, and that game was good. Part of why it's one of my favorites all time. Like that whole experience together is just like it's magical.
That is a good story, David.
That's one of the few good ones I got. So
Follow it up, Zach.
What's funny, David, Chris, you mentioning Evolve unlocked a memory in my brain.
Oh no.
Of hey, let's go back in time to the original Xbox.
Weirdly enough, I think I know the game you're gonna say, but go ahead.
And there were tons of obviously Halo, huge, incredibly influential, cannot be understated how influential that game was, especially the first person shooters. And shooters in general. And everybody, much like we were speaking of Billy Hatcher, so many Mario killers were showing up. Well, at this point in time, everybody wanted to be the Halo killer. And guess who was trying to take a crack? Microsoft themselves said, let's make another like hardcore space shooter game. This time we're going to be third person, but it's published by Microsoft Game Studios. Had full Xbox Live support. I'm of course talking about the often remembered
In space?
Brute Force.
What the fuck is Brute Force?
Oh.
If y'all don't remember Brute Force,
I didn't have an Xbox, but I think I've seen the cover art because it's bad.
it's so bad.
I
game
wanted
wasn't
you to be
great
talking
either.
Oh, this cover art's terrible. I wanted you to be talking about Mag, which was both not an Xbox game and didn't come out for like 5 years. But man, I wanted you to be talking about Mag.
Oh, that lizard man on the front of this cover, Jeezel.
I love him.
Yeah, they got a lizard man in the party.
Oh, look at these low poly boobs.
Yeah,
Ugh, these character designs are gross.
let me talk about why Brute Force. Because again, Brute Force, whatever gaming magazines I was reading, it was hyping up Brute Force.
You're reading the wrong ones.
This is this is gonna be.
You were a Game Informer guy, I could tell.
I don't think I was, but I can't remember what I was.
Game Informer,
It was
as someone who
EVM.
was reading it then, didn't hype up Brute Force. I don't think.
Anyways, so in my head I was like, cool, this is, and I was super into shooters. I was huge into Counter-Strike, huge into Halo, huge into all that shit. I was like, this is gonna be my jam. Brute Force, can't wait for it. However, this game, you might have assumed, is rated M for mature. Was not mature at the time. So
Were you T for teen?
I was T for teen.
Okay.
And I might not have even been yet. I can't remember when this game came out. And Mackie and Chess said, Zach, you read magazines? Yeah, of course I did. Everybody did back then. Come on. That's all we had to read.
We're old.
Didn't have
The
books.
internet was shit.
Came out in May of 2003,
It was
so you
03.
might not have been a teen yet.
Oh, I wasn't even a teen. That's really good. I was a tween.
This guy wasn't even a teen.
So my folks were out of town, and I was being babysat by this old lady named Shirley. She's dead now, but she was my mom's my mom's best friend's mom. Shirley was great. She's a little naive, but she was a sweetheart. Always made me grilled cheese sandwiches.
Because I can guess the story is you tricked this old lady into buying you a video game.
Yeah, of course I did.
I can tell she was fucking naive.
Of course, yeah. And so she bought me this rated M for mature game when I was apparently 12, and it was just okay. It was a pretty lackluster game, but
This
I
picture
remember,
being like, nah, Zach, what does the M in this on this game stand
straight up,
for?
she sounded like that. I'm not joking. Like she was that kind. She looked like Muriel from Persian Cowardly Dog.
I just
Not joking.
I just picture her saying that, and you just being like, "Oh, it's M for like male or men, you know, it's for boys, right?"
Yeah, and
her being like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Shirley was one of the homies. I was sad when she passed away.
Shirley is a deep ally of the Save Data Pod.
Yes.
Also, this made me look at just because I had the page open on Revan, the Wikipedia for Fire Emblem. ESRB rating for that game, early childhood. You kill so many people in that game.
Yeah, but it's like pixelated violence, David.
It's a Nintendo.
It's not even blood.
A Nintendo can't hurt you.
True.
True.
I will say one thing that was cool about Brute Force, just as a game before we forget it forever again.
Yes,
as it should be though.
Horrible, stupid mobs in the game. Again, it's third-person shooter. You know, you can die in the campaign and come back because your characters are cloned. That was the lore. I remember at one point one of the characters died and was like, it said some witty comment of like, "Oh, I hope that other me went to heaven" or something. And I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting concept to think about. My mortality as a 12-year-old." But
my grip, my weak grip on the veil of reality.
Yeah. But in the single player campaign, you fight all manner of aliens, and as you kill them, you unlock them in multiplayer mode. So you're going into multiplayer, and you have literally every single creature available to play as.
Oh, so it's like time splitters.
It's literally time splitters.
Hell
but
yeah!
It's like some of the aliens.
That was the game, but Time Splitter was the game I was going to guess you were talking about when you were hyping up the not Halo.
Some of the characters, like villains, were literally just like head crabs that died in one shot, but you could choose to pick them.
Amazing.
And play as them, and it was the worst choice you could have made, but it was an option. And I remember as a kid being like, "That's really cool." That's Brute Force, anyways. It's a dumb game.
I as a youth had played Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8. I at this point had not played 9. I don't remember why I skipped 9, but I did for some reason. And then I don't know about y'all, I saw the fucking TV commercial for Final Fantasy 10.
Yeah,
and I said, "I'll be having some of that, please," because it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And look at those fucking FMVs.
Yeah, I know.
It's true. Some of the best animation, like for the time period. Games, movies, whatever.
Still looks really good, actually.
Yes. And I went to the GameStop, the EB Games.
Cabbages.
We didn't have those.
We didn't have those in the South. It was EB Games, same company, obviously. And I was like, "I'll take this one with the boy on the cover holding the water sword."
Yep.
And despite the fact that I already owned the Final Fantasies 6 through 8, my mother looks at it and goes, "This says T for teen," and I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "You can't have this," and I was decimated. So then I made my sister buy it for me because she was a T for T.
Nice.
And my mother was none the wiser.
Hell yeah!
Because she doesn't know what video games are. She commonly referred to them as Nintendos.
Hell yeah!
Amazing.
Fun fact about my mother: also calls marijuana the reefer. Unironically.
Amazing.
Still to this day.
To this day.
Amazing. That's a good one.
Also, FF10 fucks. I don't give a shit.
FF10's good, yeah.
And God, we were so young back then. Those FMVs looked amazing. They still look great, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They still look good. That's how amazing they were.
It was the most expensive CG ever at the time, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of anything, movies or anything.
Yeah, they looked really, really, really,
hey,
really good.
I know they blew a lot of the budget on that CG. Fucking worth it.
I mean, they sold the game on it, so yeah, probably worth it.
Yeah. I bet you it made more money than 7 or 8.
I don't know about 7.
I don't know, man. PlayStation 2 sold a lot of copies of stuff.
David, you go to the next topic. I'm gonna figure this out.
All right. I mean, listen. Did I talk about this game earlier? Yeah. Am I going to talk about this game again? Also, yeah, because it was the reason that I even came up with this topic for the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Psychonauts.
Welcome back to the Psychonauts 2 cast. I'm not going to talk about the game being good. I already talked about that. This is about a young David who, again, this was in the between. I think this game came out in 2005, so I probably picked it up late 2005 or 2006 from a bargain bin because no one bought Psychonauts at release at a GameStop or Funko Land in Yonder.
Was Psychonauts 1?
What?
What year was Psychonauts 1?
2005.
I think I might have bought it on release.
But this game did not do well. It did well critically, didn't sell, like, at all, period. I definitely picked this up from a bargain bin or got it used as a Christmas present, as I often did, to get more games out of my Christmas gifts.
Nice.
But man, I picked up this game, I loved it, and I was like, man, they really end this game on a cliffhanger. When's 2 coming?
Man, you had bad luck with that, didn't you?
Yeah, I really did have bad luck with that as a youth. And with television too, really just horrible luck with things I like ending on a cliffhanger. But yeah, so I love Psychonauts 1. Double Fine went on to make Brutal Legend, never really talked about making a Psychonauts 2 again for years and years and years, and then they teased...
Have we talked about that? What's your thought on Brutal Legend?
I never finished it, but I enjoyed what I played of it. I played a little bit, and then I don't know why I fell off of it, but I liked what I played, even the like RTS stuff when it started to creep in.
Forgot about that.
I've been wanting to actually go back and play that at some point.
It's no Overlord for the Xbox.
No, it's not. But this game basically disappeared into the nether for 10 years, roughly. There's like a VR game that got announced for a system that I didn't own at the time, for a VR system, a VR system for a system that I did not own. So I was like, well, that looks cool. Not playing that. Guess I won't ever get a true sequel. And then the Game Awards 2016, 2015. I forget which one.
I really wish that we were in existence at that point and we had you on the show just so I would have live footage of you reacting to that.
Now, I can tell you for a fact, because this happened twice at work, because I worked at the same place, both times, both for Psychonauts 2 and the Beyond Good and Evil 2 announcements. I was in the office when they announced it. Both times, yelled, enjoy, exclaimed, true happiness from my office. And both times, people in their cubes like look up to be like, yo, what the hell?
You okay?
Yeah, you okay? And me going like, oh, no, it's fine, sorry. My code compiled. I'm good. And like,
to be fair, hey, totally get that when something's been failing repeatedly, and if Alex succeeds, and you're just like, fuck yeah, I'm the best.
Exactly. But Tim Schafer walks up, and even when he's walking up on the stage, because I have the timeline wrong. The trailer starts for Psychonauts 2. And even like halfway through the trailer for this game that I already know what it is, I'm still in disbelief of like, no, they can't be doing this, right? And then there is a tinge of worry and disappointment because they're like, hey, we're crowdfunding this.
Yeah.
It's on Fig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, the fate of one of my favorite games is reliant on the public who already failed the first one. How can this be? To make a long story short, it did get funded very quickly. And I initially didn't fund it both because I did not have money and was not confident in Double Fine actually making the game because they had some iffy stuff with previous Kickstarters. Which
that one game
when they've Broken
Okay.
Age had its own issues, and then they did a separate game that had even more issues than Broken Age. But
yikes.
But they've talked about it since of like, yeah, they just didn't really know what they were doing, and they got way over their head. And by the time they got to Psychonauts 2, they actually knew what the hell they were doing. And man, so I didn't initially back it. I backed it later. I watched some trailers and got like so hyped. I've watched all the Fig backer stuff for like 3 years of them posting videos every once in a while with updates on the game, showing some early build stuff.
Wasn't it also, weren't they being published by...
They're being published
Skybound?
Partially by Starbreeze, who then was being investigated by the Swedish version of the IRS.
Yep.
That we talked about on
we did talk about that on
that was
Around
probably the
Monitor.
origin of us memeing on David this game was never coming out.
Yeah,
probably.
I think so.
Probably. But yeah, so Starbreeze was in like huge financial trouble with like government.
I'll say.
I totally was like, man, that money I spent's gone. Like, like a
Yeah,
Ripperino to.
I mean, a reasonable thing to think.
Ripperino to a few $100. Hope I don't get. Hope I get that back. But man, against all odds from me, come like 2019, I think is when I started to be like, okay, I think this game's actually going to come out. Like, they have enough here that it's going to come out. They get bought by Microsoft. I'm like, oh shit, well, that game's delayed because they have more money now. But it might actually come out now.
Yeah, now you have a much higher chance.
And then I got some more trailers, and overall, man, like, I stayed away from the story trailers prior to release, but I watched a ton of like the gameplay and other ones, and like they had like a backer only trailer they released like a day or two before the game came out. And just like, I was so excited for this game, and it delivered, and oh my god. It's so great.
I mean, that never happens.
No.
Honestly. So
no.
I mean, hey, hats off to all the Shenmue 3 fans.
Get fucked by that game. And I mean, also hats off to the Beyond Good and Evil 2 people, because that game's probably not coming. That game's probably dead.
Also, shout out to all the huge Skull and Bones fans.
Skull and Bones! Oh, yeah, we should have that to our most hype list. David brought something up which I actually want to touch on.
Okay.
Kickstarting or Indiegogoing or crowdfunding games. What that indicates a certain level of hype. What have y'all thrown money at? And how did that go?
Psychonauts 2, which went well.
Yeah.
Were
you in on Project Phoenix? You struck me as someone that was in on Project Phoenix.
Was that the XCOM thing?
No, that was the Final Fantasy thing.
Oh no, I don't even know what that is.
It was at one point the most funded Kickstarter ever. It raised $1 bajillion. And they had an original soundtrack by Nobuo Uematsu. They had the director of FF, I want to say 4, was directing it. And it had like all-star talent, never came out. Never made it past like anything.
Yeah,
and nobody got their money back.
Honestly, that doesn't shock me that much.
The people who were behind the money were in hiding for a while from the Japanese government.
Jesus Christ.
It was a big thing, yeah. Other than that, Skullgirls turned out great, obviously. Indivisible, the game is good. Shame about that company.
Shame about the guy, yeah, but like
yeah.
So I have only kickstarted Psychonauts and Unbeatable. And then Unbeatable was in the past year, so that is clearly not out yet. Then Trial by Trolley, the board game, but that doesn't really count for this.
Oh yeah, I also have Kickstarter board games, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, so just those two. I am generally, I don't like putting money at risk for most Kickstarters unless it's something I truly am like, yo, there is a very high chance this is going to happen, or I'm not throwing enough money at it that like I'm too worried. And that's changed a little bit. I actually have money now, like disposable funds, which is a new thing in the past few years. So I'm not like, I am more open to doing that stuff now, but that's it. I might be, if it's not too late, that one RPG that's being made by the people who made The Messenger.
Don't know it.
I'm trying to remember the name.
The people who made The Messenger. Oh.
It's like a 2D JRPG. Sabotage. What are they? Sea of Stars. There we go.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Sea of Stars is the game. That game looks super cool. I might kickstart that and get on it late. That's the only.
That's fine. I respect that hustle.
Yeah, I've actually never kickstarted something. There's been a few things I've thought about, but I think like I almost did it for what's the name of the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I almost did it for that. I'm a huge Koji Igarashi and Castlevania fan, but I didn't.
Right, yeah.
I played the game on Switch, which was not the place to play that game.
No.
But it was fine. Good game. Game was good. Like scratched the itch I wanted it to. But yeah, it was Wish I hadn't played it on the Switch.
Did it come out after Hollow Knight?
Yeah.
That's bad luck on their part.
I mean, they're different games.
They are, but like if I had to peg one as like the spiritual successor to Castlevania, it's fucking Hollow Knight.
No, it's Bloodstained.
No,
you're wrong.
No, you're crazy.
You are 100% wrong.
Really?
Like they're both Metroidvanias, but like
But like, which one's going to carry the legacy further? Like, which one's going to keep making games in that fucking thing that actually do super well?
I mean, that doesn't mean it's a successor.
I mean to be fair,
Hollow Knight's a Metroidvania.
That's what I meant.
I mean, it doesn't have RPG elements. It doesn't have like you capture souls of your enemies. You can use different abilities.
Yeah, Bloodstained is straight up just Castlevania.
Hold on, you can use different abilities in Hollow Knight.
No, yeah, but it's not like you don't go into a menu and be like, okay, I want to have the fire demon equipped on my right trigger bumper, and then it's like I'm going to use the passive demon fairy who heals me every 20 seconds, and I'm going to.
You gotta play fucking Momodora for that. What's the other one?
No, I don't know.
No, those are fucking. Those games are great.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about Momodora. I remember being like,
Momodora's really good. The second one's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Update. Can't get in on the Sea of Stars Kickstarter. I think I'm too late on that one.
Damn. Zach, did you figure out the numbers on Final Fantasy?
Yes. Final Fantasy VII sold more.
Shit. Okay.
Gotcha.
It's 13 million versus 10 million for Final Fantasy.
I'm assuming that's like over time though, because
has been selling.
Yeah, I was gonna say FF7 just has so much more zeitgeist around it than 10 does.
I wonder like how much it sold. I wish if that number's available, awesome. See like its first year on Steam. Because I bet you it cleaned the fuck up.
I'm sure.
I know I bought it on Steam and played it there.
I own it on Steam. Yeah.
So they did this for when they announced Psychonauts 2. Actually, they had an infographic that was basically like, here's how much Psychonauts sold at like launch, which was like 500,000 copies in the first like couple years or 5 years or something, and like here is how many copies it sold in the 5 years after that, and it was like 2 million or something like that.
Oh wow.
Because they got so big from people talking about the game. Like it was all just word of mouth.
Dang.
For Tim.
Yeah.
The only other fun story I can think of, this is kind of switching off most hyped releases, but I think it's a really fun story and still interesting. Because the game was already out. I was a child and I didn't know. I'm talking, of course, about Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
I was too young to be hyped for it.
Yeah, me too.
Same. Let me explain. My parents, my dad in particular, huge baseball fan, loves the sport, can't get enough of the sport. America's favorite pastime.
Great game.
And he coached a lot of young adult teams, and we would travel a lot for that when I was a kid, including like going to Florida to like Disney's sports, whatever.
Wild World of Sports.
Yeah, I think this was called. Like you go down there and play and all this stuff, and like go to different fields and whatever all over the country. And the assistant coach was a guy named Hawk. That wasn't his real name.
Sorry, Hawk, as in the bird?
As in the bird.
Excellent.
I couldn't tell you his first name, but his last name was Hawkins. And that's
Richard Hawk.
He's amazing. Really cool dude. Just like always the warmest smile, always super kind. But he had a huge van that had a tiny, like 10-inch CRT in the back, which, in the 90s was like, this is the coolest van I've ever seen in my life. And also had a N64 built into the van that could play games.
Oh, I remember.
Damn. Shit. This is the coolest shit. And so, like, anytime they were playing games, I was like, yo, Hawk, can I go in your car, use up your gasoline to keep the N64 playing while I play for several hours? And he was great and would always say yes. And sometimes my dad would be like, no, don't. Like, stop. Just let his car rest, please. But I remember going in and dude had Ocarina of Time, and I was like, what is this game? And of course it was like a fully complete save file, and hopped in and was like, everything's done. He has all the warp songs, and because I was like a little baby boy who didn't know how to play 3D video games in any capacity, I would just play the songs and travel to the different areas of the game and be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's actually like a really unique experience with Zelda that I've never heard anyone else have.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I especially remember like going to Death Mountain Crater and being in there and not knowing, oh, you have to put on the red tunic or else like you'll die. And I saw like the timer tick down and Navi was like, we have to get out of here or we're gonna die because it's so hot. And I was like, oh god, play another song quick, get me out of here. And it was just like that experience. And I cannot stress this enough, did not play any of the game. I just played the songs and traveled to the different areas and was like, oh, this is really cool. Wow, okay. And then I begged my mom to buy that game for me. And then for Christmas I got it. And then
it was a banger.
And I don't know if I like finished it right away. Like I think I took like super long to like get anywhere in the game, but like that was just a really interesting
do you want to hear the exact inverse of the story?
Okay, yeah.
Do you guys remember when like McDonald's and other places would have an N64 set up inside? Yeah, that very weird era of time. I played the first like, I don't know, 13 minutes of Donkey Kong 64 on one of those while like my mom was like getting McDonald's.
What a horrible game to have at a freaking
So here's the thing. I thought it was amazing. I was like, this game's awesome. You get to be a monkey. You get to run around and do stuff. And then I got it for Christmas probably that year. Maybe not. I don't remember what it was this time. And I played through it and I was like, ooh, this game's like very good.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64 is the first game I remember not liking.
No, as a kid I remember liking it, but
I had already played Banjo-Kazooie, which I think ruined it.
I played Banjo-Tooie first, which was wild.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that before. I mean, I played Kingdom Hearts 2 before 1, so like I get that feeling.
That's wild.
God, Kingdom Hearts 2. I was actually really hyped for that because I loved 1. I got it for Christmas too. Great game. And then 3 happened. Hey, look, we'll talk about this right now and just get it out of the way. I was incredibly hyped for Kingdom Hearts 3. Of course I was.
Yeah,
I waited 13 goddamn years for it. Yeah. And then the game sucks ass. It's terrible. The combat's the worst in any Kingdom Hearts game, including the fucking card game.
No, the card game was worse.
I mean, okay,
I won't concede that.
Those things are not comparable. We're comparing a 3D spectacle fighter on a card game. I can't think.
Okay, even
apples to oranges.
The PS2 remake of Chain of Memories that had like a mixture of the cards and the normal combat.
I think that system is fine.
No, it's shit. It is utter garbage.
I think it's fine. But no, 3's terrible. The story is a fucking slap in the face. How dare you make me wait 13 years for a game and then end it on a fucking cliffhanger, you prick.
And Mackie says they used to rent Majora's Mask from their video store, only ever got to Snowhead Temple, I think. Damn, that's okay. Also just had another memory unlocked in my brain.
Of renting games?
Not quite, but I did rent games back in the day. It's such a great system. I wish we still had that.
I mean, GameFly still exists.
Yeah, it's still out there.
It does. This blows my mind because I'm not sure of how this happened. Again, I was buying the game magazines back in the day. I think Nintendo Power, and there was one that wasn't just like solely Nintendo. And I somehow got a VHS tape of like upcoming game releases, and on that it had footage of like a trailer for Majora's Mask. It had a trailer for Jet Force Gemini, which I'm sure nobody fucking remembers.
I do.
Jet Force Gemini is a cult hit, dude. Yeah,
people like Jet Force
definitely
Gemini.
Don't know the trailer, but I know the game.
And sorry, it wasn't just a trailer. It was like a full-on developer deep dive of like them being like, oh, we were and showing like concept art, and I'm like I'm not even a tween, like I'm a baby, but I was like, oh wow, this game looks amazing, and it's made by Rare, and they made other games I like. Oh my gosh, video games.
They're gonna make Star Fox Adventure and then go out of business.
I mean, to be clear, that wasn't why they went out of business.
I know. I fucking.
They didn't go out of business.
No,
they basically went out of business, and then Rare Replay happened.
Microsoft, and then
Microsoft took them out back and didn't shoot them, and we're all poorer for it.
Yeah,
no, we're not. We're gonna get Perfect Dark.
They're making good games again now. Just not the games I want them to make.
That's wild. Like, this again isn't really a release thing, but of demo discs working really well. We had what computer was this? We had like one of the first iMacs to come out that had like the transparent-ish sides, like an N64 controller.
Yep.
CD player built into the monitor, all that jazz. We got one of those through
the one from Zoolander. We know.
I haven't even seen that movie, so I have no idea. But
it's in there.
Basically, the place my mom worked at got her that to do like spreadsheets for bookkeeping and stuff at home. And so, as the kid I was immediately like, okay, when mom's not using this, how can I use this to play games?
RuneScape.
Nope.
No, so see, we didn't really have internet though, so not RuneScape. But my dad got these demo discs from I do not know where the fuck he got them from, but he got PC game demo discs.
I had those.
There was a demo for Warcraft 2 on there, which shouldn't have been playing that at the ripe age of like 8 or 9. There's a lot of blood in that game. But like, I tried that thing out. You only got to play like the first 4 stages from the orc and human sides. And they had like voice lines in there that were specifically about, like, if you clicked on the footman a ton of times, he would basically read really quick a commercial to you of like, oh, you should go to Micro Center right now and go buy Warcraft 2 now.
That's amazing.
It was fantastic. But like this Warcraft 2, I think came out like 95 or 98 or something like that, around the same time as StarCraft. And man, I played those demos and I freaking love that game. What little I played of it. And then years later, I finally went to a PC store with my mom because I don't remember. I think, we had to get a floppy disk reader for the iMac to read some old books for her job.
And you plugged it in the back with that weird cable that was green and it was like a circle. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
It's the IO one. That still exists.
Yeah.
Cable still exists. Still used for keyboards every once in a while.
Jesus Christ, wow.
But so we had to go to the computer store to get that. And when we're at the computer store, I see Warcraft 2. And I'm like, Mom, I need that. She's like, you can play games on our computer? It's not just like demos? I thought you had the game. I was like, no, I played the first 4 levels. Please, I know there's no holiday, but please give me this game. It's like $5 because it's years out of print at this point. And got it. And man, Warcraft 2, one of the best games Blizzard's ever made.
I got StarCraft and StarCraft Brood War for $1 at a yard sale.
Yeah, me too.
I was like 11 or something like that.
Me too.
And then I got to play, I don't know, hundreds if not thousands of hours of Brood War.
Yeah, I played Zach, you'll know him, Ralph from high school. Me and him both got StarCraft at a like flea market or garage sale and just started playing like all the time. It was great. That's all the stories I got though. Do you have anything else? Or
I just have a couple here. I want to just see like if like the name of these like brings any hype back.
Okay.
A lot of these are sequels to very successful games or very infamous games. Chrono Cross after Chrono Trigger.
I actually never played it.
I haven't played it.
one of the biggest letdowns in gaming, I think.
Yeah.
I
think people don't think it's bad. They just think it
just doesn't live up to Chrono Trigger.
Soundtrack fucks. They made some bad changes with the core combat system.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 we already talked about. Persona 5. I was really fucking mad for P5.
Yeah.
Just because like 4 slaps. Although I will say retroactively, 4 not a good game. Didn't age well.
No, I don't think most of the Persona games aged well.
I think 5 will because it's really fast.
It's 120 hours. What the fuck are you talking about?
But like the combat is.
Oh,
fast.
yeah, the combat is.
Go play fucking P4's combat. Now.
P4 is much slower. Yeah, that's true.
Bloodborne.
As someone who doesn't care about FromSoft, no, I didn't care at all.
I
also didn't have a PS4
I feel like
then.
The hype for I got a PS4 for Destiny. Yikes. And then Bloodborne, of course, I was so hyped for it. I was like, it's fast Dark Souls, fuck yeah.
I don't think I got a PS4 until 2017.
But I also loved I loved Souls early because I was a huge FromSoft fan because of Armored Core.
I did like Armored Core, but I didn't connect the
Armored
developer.
Core 4 is such a fucking good. That's one of the first developers I remember really like. What else do these guys make? Because Armored Core 4 kicks so much.
I think I thought the company was called Ravensoft, which is a different company, not them.
Ravens. I think that was actually the internal development team, and didn't they go on to make shit for like Call of Duty?
Yes, they make Call of Duty now, but they did a bunch of other stuff that's totally unrelated.
What a weird step to get there.
I applied there. They made some other cool games. I forget what they made. They made something I absolutely love.
Several people in the chat are talking about.
They made Hexen. That was one of the big things they did.
I don't remember. I don't know. That means nothing to me.
Let's see.
Obviously, I was in.
They made Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. That's what.
Banger!
Yeah.
I was obviously very hyped for Transistor when it came out. I would go watch. Total Biscuit was the first person to ever cover that game. RIP. And he was I think he knew someone was Super Giant, and he just had a good rapport with them. They gave him the first 20 minutes of the game completely unedited. Like they gave him the raw video of that. So he had a commentated version of it, and then he had a non-commentated version of it, which I believe actually had more views than the commentated version of it because everyone just wanted to hear the music, obviously.
Yeah.
I must have watched that, I don't know, 15, 20 times. And it was a full last 20 minutes before the game finally came out. Because like just the art style, the fucking presentation, and of course the music.
You bringing up FromSoft actually reminds me of the Dark Souls 2 launch, which actually I was playing with Wes, friend of the show, and literally he was like, we were both in Cincinnati at the time, and he was like, yo, you gonna go play this new Dark Souls right when it comes out? And I was like, dude, am I? And so we went to the GameStop together. We bought.
Why did it sound like you two were about to commit a crime in this story?
I mean, committed a crime on Soler. No, he's not in the second one. We went in, got it, like both bought our separate copies, and then came back to my house and like sat in the basement and played the first 2 hours till like 2 a.m. and we're like, okay, we gotta go to bed. But he I remember being so pissed because the guy at the store at the counter was like, oh, like you guys are big Dark Souls fans. And we're like, well, yeah, we're picking up at a midnight launch event. What the hell do you think? And he was like, are you? He was like, yo, I like play a little bit ahead of the game because we got it here early, and Ornstein is back in this game. And I was like, why the fuck would you tell us that?
Yeah, what a dick!
What an asshole!
I was pretty pissed about that. Turns out Ornstein was in the game, but somebody was wearing his armor. Also, was doing a summer contract with Wes back in college, acting, and Diablo 3 was coming out.
God, the launch of that game was so bad.
I was so hyped for that game because I was a huge Diablo 2 fan, and Wes had never played, and I was like, yo, I'm going to make you into a Diablo fan because this is going to be so good. We're going to play this together because we're living in the same housing for the entire summer, essentially, and I was like, we're going to fucking beat this whole game together. It's going to be great. And then, in case nobody knows, the launch of that game was incredibly botched. And
heard it got really good later, but yeah, the launch was definitely botched.
So I tried to play when it came out. They let you return it because it was so bad.
It was
virtually
the game
through the Blizzard store, which was a wild thing to do whenever year the fuck that was, 2012 maybe.
Yeah.
And I went back and played it like a year later, maybe even more than that. And it is a good game. Yeah. But that fucking launch was insufferable.
Yeah, it took at least half a week for us to like be able to like consistently log into the game and stay in the game. But then we had a blast. But yeah, it was extremely frustrating.
David mentioned something earlier, which made me write this down. I've never been more disappointed by a game that includes Kingdom Hearts 3 than Street Fighter 4. And Street 4 is, while it is regarded as the bad one in Street Fighter, it's not like terrible. But going from Third Strike, which was like a defining part of my childhood, I must have played 5,000 hours of that game with my friends.
God.
It's all we fucking played. It's all we played. To the point where there was a period we had to get a new when our television was nearing death. It was a big, huge tube TV. It had the health bars burned in at the top of the screen.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
because I played that much Street Fighter.
Wow.
On it. And then 4 is not terrible, but it's a huge step down in quality. And it made me be like, am I aging? Am I getting old? Am I too old for video games? No, it was just not that good of a game.
Also, shout out to Smash 4 on the Nintendo 3DS.
Yes.
Waited in line at the Nintendo store in New York City because I just moved here.
And I forgot that game was on the 3DS. Shit.
Actually, no. This is before I officially moved here. I was subletting here.
It's the most forgettable Smash that could possibly exist.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't great, but I remember waiting in line. And like, Chris, you've been to the New York store, right?
Yeah.
It is. It's right near Radio City. It is right near.
It's in Rock Center.
Yeah, it's huge, and the line to get in was wrapped around the entire building and like down another block. And I showed up like 3 or 4 hours early before they opened the store. And the whole time was literally just with my 3DS, street passing with people.
Oh yeah, big street pass day.
I had so much. I got like literally so many people.
You could have beat Bravely Default in that line with all that street pass.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really good. That was fun, but the game was just okay.
Correct.
Anyways,
heck yeah, well, that was fun. We got a lot of good stories.
I have a closing. I have a closing segment, which I think we
go on, Chris.
What's everyone's Psychonauts 2? So David, you get a new one because it came out. The game came out and was good.
Duh.
Oh, Metroid. Okay, Metroid 4.
It's Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, 4.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Now, has David burned his by getting one that came out and was good?
It was really good.
Like,
I don't know.
Are you fucked for like a couple years now?
I mean, listen.
He's not
the other one is Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I already have concerns about since Michel Ancel is no longer at Ubisoft and apparently was a shithead. So
that's true. That's a good point.
So I have concerns, and they're talking about having potentially more online stuff. So I have concerns on that one.
Boy, Beyond Good and Evil multiplayer. Let's go.
Without going deep into it, the first game has a lot of like an AI helping you solve puzzles and stuff, which I feel like could be good co-op.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But beyond that, no, please don't. Just make a co-op thing, please. Please don't do what I think you're gonna do.
Do you want a battle royale?
Kill me.
I think if they were to ever do like if pretty much whatever Blue Point's doing next, I will probably lose my mind for if it is anything that they are rumored to be working on.
Yeah. Actually, just Metal Gear. If it's Silent Hill, I won't care at all. But
I'll still be hyped for it. But yeah, if they announce they're going to do like a Metal Gear remake, I will go bonkers because oh my god.
I mean, that would be awesome for us who have been talking about doing a series for years, but like the games just aren't easily playable.
Yeah,
you can.
I've heard.
But like
I've heard the PS Now versions aren't so bad, and they're also on Xbox with backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Except for 4. 4 is only on PS Now and PS3.
Yeah, but 4 is actually not that bad to get a hold of.
And I have actually, if we ever do it, I have a splitter that removes HDCP, so we can't just use a PS3.
Hey, it's not like 4 has a lot of gameplay.
It's very just true. Watching a movie.
Watching a fucking movie.
It'd be fun to do that and have us voice over the literal hours of
footage.
Yeah.
Man, I want to play that game. I don't want to use the voice over it. It's got voice actors that are good.
That's good voice acting.
Really good voice acting. Yeah.
Count me out if we do that.
Mine, of course, is Project L, a game that is.
Oh yeah.
I'm worried.
That's gonna come out, dude.
I'm so worried though because Riot's gonna get their fucking Riot goop all up in it, and like
Riot.
Here's the thing, all their games are good.
I was just saying, yeah, Riot's only made good games.
That's true. Well, the thing that worries me is that Rising Thunder was out and good and finished. Like not finished, like they had gotten. Yeah, exactly. And it's been fucking like they acquired Radiant like 8 years ago.
It hasn't been that long, has it? Damn.
No. I was in college though, so it has to be at least 5.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, I guess taking Beyond Good and Evil 2 out because that already got announced. A thing that literally will never happen, so it's never going to happen, is a Legend of Legaia reboot for me. But
no,
that's literally 0% chance of that ever happening.
We've talked about that game several times, and I still forget.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything like unannounced that I'm
and
like.
PlayStation
I guess
it.
Armored Core 6, but like.
Oh, you know what?
That was
Armored Core would get me hyped.
Like, that was supposed to be announced like 5 years ago. Maybe they canceled it. Honestly,
they might have completely rebooted it. But yeah, no. You know what?
That's
Armored
true.
Core would get me. That would get me pretty hyped too. All right.
Suppose the Secret of Evermore remake.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Oh, I have written here Pokemon Data. Does that do anything for anyone?
Hey.
We're ending the show. Y'all were complaining about it being long, and then you extended it.
No.
Yeah, 2.5 hour podcast.
Goddamn assholes. Anything to plug before we call it a day?
Hey folks, this upcoming week we will not be playing Pokemon on Monday because Chris is a big boy job. Hit us up with those hot ideas for us to play something different that we can probably cut into an easy stream to go up on Tuesday because we won't have an Ace Attorney video as well. So
we could do Life is Strange.
Wait, Overboard isn't going up instead of Ace Attorney next week?
No, Overboard is, but looking at the footage, I'm like, I feel like it should just be put up as one big video instead of 2. If we're not going to go back to it.
It's going to be a bad week for Zach's revenue.
Yeah.
Not Zach unabashedly, yes it will.
It honestly, it could be a bad month because it's like that's the one thing that's keeping us hanging now. There's Ace Attorney videos every week.
All right, cool. So with that, please give our YouTube videos some love for Zach this week.
Hey folks, if you'd like to help me put food on my table, please go to patreon.com/savedatateam.
Or if you don't have the funds, run some YouTube for us.
Yeah, just turn off your ad blocker and just go through a playlist of one of our videos. Thank you. That'd be really helpful.
With that, I think that's it. Is there Ace Attorney to watch this week live? Just not recording? Okay.
So, yeah, Wednesday we'll have
Ace Attorney will be back. And yeah, I think that's about it. Tune in next week for Around the Monitor, all that jazz. And in 2 weeks for this show again. So with that, this has been the Save Data Cast. Please do give us some love on Discord, Twitter at Save Data Team, on all different platforms. Literally everything. We're Save Data Team. So check us out there and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Joe.
See ya.